Hey there guys, and welcome back to Alex Invests, and welcome back to the original setup. We are back in Vancouver. We were in Ontario, Toronto there for about a month, and so a lot of you new subscribers haven't even seen the original setup, but all of you older subscribers already have. And of course, now you see we've added the Alex Invests logo in the back there on a screen because I did like that when we were in Ontario, having that full screen in the background. So we've got the Alex Invest sign, and of course we've got our little Alex Invest sign to show markets green or red, and it's nice to see we're optimistic. We've got the green sign, of course. So yeah, I think next week's gonna be green, and if it's red, I'll be buying that dip. So anyways, today I want to talk to you guys about CMC, a few things. First of all, I want to talk to you guys about their biodiesel fuel, how it's better than regular biodiesel, and what they've been doing recently to kind of lower their sulfur content and desulfurize their biodiesel, which is going to be important for them for revenues moving forward. So we're going to go through that, and then we're also going to go through sort of their joint venture agreements here and some of the new facilities they're building with Renewable U Energy. So that's really good stuff there, and so those are the two reasons I see big growth for them here now, and we're just going to go through those, and we're going to start with their biodiesel here and why it's better. So first of all, traditional biodiesel has very high water content and has a really high cloud point, and basically what that means is in cold temperatures it waxes easily and can't be used for fuel anymore. So in colder environments, in colder temperatures, it's hard to sort of use this traditional biodiesel. And also sort of traditional biodiesel yields lower kind of fuel economy. So, you know, when looking at Cielo's biodiesel here, we don't kind of have we have low water content, we have a low cloud point, meaning that we can use it in very cold temperatures, so that's really good news. And of course their fuel economy is much better than traditional biodiesel. So we're getting to sort of a more how actual diesel operates here. That's kind of how CMC's biodiesel operates, whereas traditional biodiesel is quite bad as in comparison as a fuel. So that's really good news. Now the issue was, as we can see, sort of this sulfur content that was in Cielo's biodiesel, and they had high sulfur content, higher than 15 parts per million. Now the issue there is then it can't be used as well for fuel, for diesel fuel. So they've been trying to lower that, and that's kind of what this article here is saying, because as we can see, Cielo has been in collaboration with the University of Calgary, right, in order to kind of find a cost-effective solution to decrease the sulfur content. Now, they've demonstrated the proof of concept here, and the tests that they've been doing have been extremely successful, meaning their goal, which was to meet highway diesel specifications, which is lower than 15 parts per million, they have now achieved, because they've actually got laboratory results back. We can see right here where my mouse is, right, indicated the successful reduction of sulfur content to approximately 5 parts per million, and they were going for 15 parts per million. So think about how much better that is there already. Now, why is this so important? Well, it gives them more revenues in different fields, like for example this deal right here, where Cielo Waste Solutions has received prepayment in full for 60,000 liters of renewable biodiesel, which is being produced at the Aldersyde Waste facility, right? And then that's kind of their test facility there. Now, what we can see is that this third party, the diesel will be shipped to this third party purchaser once Cielo reduces the sulfur content of its renewable fuel down to less than 15 parts per million sulfur. And that's why they were trying to achieve that less than 15 million parts per million, because that's what they need, right? Now, what we have is 5 parts per million. So they're going to start generating this revenue from them, from this deal, right? But they're also going to be continually generating more revenues from this now that they've been able to decrease that sulfur content. So that's going to lead to big revenue generation moving forward here now that they've been able to do this, and because their fuel again is so much better than traditional biodiesel here. So very, very important to know. So that's kind of the first thing there. Now I want to get into this with you guys, and this is basically that they've announced 3 new facilities that they're building with sort of a joint venture deal with Renewable U Energy Inc, right? And now they've already got quite a few joint venture agreements with Renewable U Energy Inc, and now they're adding 3 more here. Now what's important to read here, and follow my mouse here, right, is the MOU, which is Memorandum of Understanding, because they're not definitive agreements yet here, right, guys? We've got, and we'll go through why in a second here, but basically the MOU provides for Cielo to build and commission at no cost to Cielo other than internal costs. That's important because they don't have to pay for these facilities, right? And they basically just have to provide those internal costs, right, of actually, production, etc. But they don't have to have any of the costs of capital to build these facilities. And now that's super important because that is very, very good news for shareholders, because Cielo will not need to take out any debt for these. They will not need to raise any capital by issuing shares or anything, but they're essentially just going to get these facilities built for them by Renewable U Energy with their joint venture deals, and be able to generate revenues from that. So no cost of capital, but revenue generation. So very important here. Now these 3 new facilities, high grade, obviously, right? One is in Winnipeg, Manitoba. One is in Kamloops, British Columbia. And the last is a high volume location to be determined in the United States. So we don't know where that facility in the US is going to be yet. But what's important is that they are moving into the US, which is very, very good news for us as shareholders, because the US, Canada only has so much potential for the use of biodiesel here, but the US is a huge, huge market, which is essentially untapped for this new generation biodiesel, which Cielo Waste Solutions is creating here. So very, very good news for that they're getting into the US, because all of their other facilities so far are being built in Canada. Now, right now, they just have their one test facility in Aldersyde, but since they're getting to these, they're hitting these benchmarks they need to hit, they're hitting less sulfur content, right? They're hitting close to here, what we can read here is 500 liters per hour of renewable fuel. Now, that's important because essentially these facilities, these 3 and the other facilities they have with Renewable U Energy are going to become definitive agreements. Again, follow my mouse here, right? Once they can produce, Cielo can produce 24/7 for 60 days, a minimum of 500 liters per hour of renewable fuel in their Aldersyde facility, right? So once they hit that minimum requirement, all of these joint venture agreements become definitive agreements and no longer just memorandums of understanding. So that's where they need to get to, and they're getting very close here. And so once we hit that, we're going to start seeing these facilities get built, and we're going to see big revenue generation once these facilities are built. I would say mid 2022 or so, we should have quite a few of these built, because what we can see is if we go to their investor presentation here, right, and this is the slideshow, and I showed this to you guys in my first CMC video, I'll link it up above too, but here, what we can see, right, is they have the Grande Prairie facility. Now, this is another joint venture agreement with Renewable Energy U, not a new one, but one that they already had in place. So they're going to be doing that in Q4 2021. Now, then we move into 2022. They're going to have these 2 other, one in Calgary, one in Edmonton facilities, again with Renewable Energy U. And they also have the commissioning of the Dunmore facility. So these are all facilities that are going to be kind of, well, the Grande Prairie one is 2021, and we expect that to be done in Q4 here, 2022. And so these facilities are going to be somewhere in in 2023, right? They'll be finished. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4 facilities. And now they've got 1 more as well. And then they've got 1, 2, 3 new facilities right here, 1 in the US, 1 in Winnipeg, and 1 in Kamloops. So that's another 3 facilities there that they're going to start working on, again, once they reach this minimum of 500 liters per hour. Now, what I was saying about them getting close here, we can see this is an update, and right, this was March 9th, right? This is from June 30th, so quite a while ago here. And these are the other facilities here, right? We can see Renewable U Grande Prairie facility. That's this facility right here, right? So Q4. And then we have the Medicine Hat facility, that's also in Alberta, then a Halifax facility, and these two other ones, and this is kind of the one, what they're doing with the US, I believe, is that one. So it's really Renewable U here that's building these facilities. Now, look at what Don Allen says. He's the CEO, right? He says, Cielo utilized the downtime in further work, right? Because of COVID-19, they had downtime in their Aldersyde facility for improvements to the process and management management believes that these new improvements will see volumes reach approximately 1,000 liters per hour during the resumption of the commissioning phase. So they expect to reach 1,000 liters per hour here already, once they start producing here again. And so that's going to happen quick now. And again, once they hit that, we're going to see all of these sort of facilities with joint agreements start to come out, right? Joint venture agreements start to happen. Now, the other thing to note, of course, is joint venture fee of $250,000 was already paid for these facilities per territory, and then another $750,000 in other joint venture fees in aggregate here. So, and then a 7% management fee, right, for Cielo on all capital expenditures, and then another markup of 30% on the catalyst used in Cielo's proprietary process of converting garbage into high-grade renewable fuel. Because, again, that catalyst, in order to do this whole process of creating this biodiesel, is proprietary technology for Cielo. Now, they've got the patent in Alberta, they've got the patent in a few other places in Canada, I believe, and they've gotten the patent for the US. So they've got the patents and they're ready to go for the US, and of course they're ready to build a lot of these other facilities in Canada here once they reach this minimum. And I think they should be reaching this minimum soon. We should get some news, I'm guessing, soon in the next few months here, in the next few quarters. We should see that they've hit this minimum requirement here, and then these companies will be, and then these facilities will start to be built here with this joint venture agreement with RUEI, right? Renewable U Energy Inc. Now, important to note that for the time being, we will not be considering any further JV agreements with any existing or other partners. That's what the CEO says again, and that's because they already have so many here with Renewable U, and they've got 8 kind of in total in territories here. Where can we see that here? We see right here, follow my mouse again, right? A joint venture resulting from the MOU would result in Renewable U Energy being responsible for fully funding the facilities in each of the 8 JV territories. 8, right? 8 territories. So very, very good stuff there. They've got a lot of facilities here coming out, and all these facilities are going to lead to big revenues moving forward, especially if they can get to kind of 4,000 liters per hour, which is kind of their end goal here, is reaching 4,000 liters per hour in their new facilities, whereas their max in their older side is going to be about 1,000 liters per hour. But of course they have that expansion that they want to do there as well, right? So good things. Now, the cost to Renewable U Energy is big, right? Each facility, an estimated beginning cost of 50 million Canadian per facility. So that's a lot of money here that Renewable U is putting into this joint venture agreement here for these joint venture facilities. And again, it's just such good news for shareholders. No debt, no financing, and all revenues here for CMC. And here, this is what I was saying about the 4,000 liters per hour, right? And that's what they want to achieve in each one of their facilities. And they want to improve their Aldersyde facility so they can demonstrate those 4,000 liters. And again, that's that expansion that we see right here in Q3 2021 of their Aldersyde facility. So they're going to hit that. They're going to see that increase in liters per hour, hopefully. And then they're going to be able to do that in their other facilities here, their Grande Prairie facility, their 2 other JV facilities here, Calgary, Edmonton, and they're Dunmore, right? And then, of course, there are 3 other facilities here, and I believe there's 1 or 2 other facilities as well then. And of course, the one in the US, that's going to be very, very important moving forward as well. Now, one last thing to mention about all of this is this right here. The Edmonton area plant, as conceived, will carry $50 million overall price tag, right? We know that, obviously. And it will produce about 33 million liters of high-grade renewable diesel, which at today's prices is approximately $55 million in annual revenue. So when they have this Edmonton facility, they're going to get $55 million a year from that facility alone. And that's a later facility that they're going to be building. And the CEO says, with just these revenues, right here we can see we are finally in a position to start reaping rewards of our efforts. These revenues are expected to put Cielo into immediate positive cash flow. So once we have this facility, and this one isn't one of their new facilities, right? It's not one of these 3. It is actually this one right here, the Edmonton facility in Q2 2022. They're going to start building these. That means they should be done about Q2 2023, maybe a little bit earlier, because they've already they're getting to, you know, more efficiency as they start building these first ones. Their Grande Prairie here is going to take a year, right, from Q4 2021 to Q4 2022 here. Now, that's why I said Q2 2023 for the Edmonton facility. Could be Q2, or it could be Q1 2023 as well, or maybe, you know, sometime around that. And what we're going to see is positive cash flows from this company already. That's basically 2 years away until they hit positive cash flows. Now, if we see these other deals coming through too, and you know, everything goes a little bit better, they might even have free cash flows and positive cash flows before 2023, Q3 2023, let's say. And that is going to be big news, and we're going to see the price just skyrocket from there. If they're saying they're going to have positive cash flows already from the Edmonton facility, then you know, that means they have very, very good margins, which we know they do from their investor presentation, which we've gone through in the last video. You can go check it out again. But yeah, that's insane news for shareholders, guys, and that's why I'm so bullish on this as well, because it's not going to be long until we see those positive cash flows from them. And that is just big news, big info there, guys. So yeah, that's what I really wanted to show you guys today. Good things moving forward here. We're going to start seeing some big news coming out. Where am I looking to get into this stock? Anywhere around the $1 mark is a great price point, in my opinion, to get into this stock. You know, we had some good spots already. The 0.6 the other week was just insane to buy. I missed out on that dip, but yeah. So yeah, great things here with the new facilities, with their desulfurization here and everything. We're going to see big moves from Cielo Waste Solutions here in the near term and in the longer term. So keep this one on your radar and look for a good place to buy into this one. Just watch it and try and get in at around that $1 mark. And other than that, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and leave me a comment as always. And other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow for the MVMD interview with the CEO. See you guys tomorrow.